13 million waves, another personal milestone reached for me in Crow Castle. The updates might not be dropping for this game, but hey, at least the waves keep on waving. Anyway, I've been running this particular setup for quite a while now, with some minor twists and tweaks, such as trying static orb angels and of course military band female for when I use a little bit of my time Autobattle and so on. But basically this setup that you can see in here is what I've been running for quite a long while now. We'll go through the build and the skill tree in this video. It's not a bad build at all. It's very overall a good build. It has very nice farming speed for me, which I do enjoy whenever I want to farm Bone Dragon or dungeons. It has very nice boss damage coverage in that sense, and it also has a very decent infinite colony damage thanks to Poseidon being in the build. And of course, as you can see, it does has quite nice wave speed, wave performance as well. That was a little bit of a bad wave, but overall this is a very nice setup. It's decently fast setup, and to be honest, I could, well, like many people at this wave level with the amount of items and skill points that we have, basically I could just leave this game running forever and maybe spend my gold every 2 weeks or so. So unless the game like crashes, there shouldn't be any issues. For some reason we are getting very bad waves right now, but you get the idea. So let's go through the build and let's start from the battle analysis to see who is doing and what kind of damage in here. So as you can see, Poseidon is the number 1 in here, and that should be the case for almost every wave in here. And then you can see we have Zeus and Succubus being the number 2 and number 3, kind of depending on the wave who is number 2 and who is number 3. But that seems to be the case in almost all of the waves. Then we have Sarah and DLA doing a little bit like the rest of the damage as well, especially helping, hopefully helping against the bosses. Let's go and take a look at the boss tab. Here, as you can see, Sarah, for example, doing 15% of the boss damage. Of course, Succubus is my number 1 highest unit in this build, so she should be doing most of the boss damage in here. In here, Sarah is actually tied with Succubus, which is kind of nice thing to have. But it should be something like this. Poseidon does do some boss damage. Kind of depends on the wave. It could be less than 10%, it could be more than 10%. It kind of really depends on the procs. But also it gives you a little bit of help in that area as well. And the gold I get from the waves is something like this. Also, as you can see, there is variation between different waves. Quite a lot actually, quite a lot actually in there. My treasures for this setup look like this. So full gold setup with the highest level Devil Horn and also the normal horn to make the monsters appear faster, which gives me more waves per hour. And also my skills look like this. So 27 cooldown skill level +1 lines in the build, 1 coming from the rune, the cooldown skill level rune, which is currently equipped on my Pure Wizard staff over here. So Pure Wizard items are that staff and this accessory. This is my only DCD IQ accessory, only DCD IQ item that I have in my waving build. And my Pure Wizard is 6.0 seconds cooldown. I'm working to get this to 5.8, and I should be able to do it soon. But I will have to check out a couple of items. But yeah, I've been running 6. It's maybe not the most optimal, but it works quite well. I'm gonna go through the rest of the items as well, so you can see what I have in my build. Some CDE items for Orc Band in here. You can basically mule any CDE items for Orc Band. And these are the chrono items in here. I'm gonna stop at the damage dealer items and take a little bit closer look, because those are probably more interesting. All of these are kind of something that you can slave and mule with any items that had a CDE, like yellow cooldown skill level +1 line. This is a beautiful item. Both the Ice Wizard items are quite beautiful. And here we come, the first damage dealer of the build. This is probably the best item, at least one of the best items in my build that I have on my account, on my full account. This is a perfect item for Zeus. So every line is basically the perfect line for Zeus. Of course, rolls could always be a fraction better, but hey, that's asking too much, way too much. But this is absolutely beautiful. And this is the same, except it doesn't have a cooldown skill level +1 line. It has a critical chance skill level +1 line instead. And crit damage orb in here. for shoes currently in my build. Pure Wizard we already went through. We have Poseidon here, and Poseidon is a double proccing. That means that Poseidon's cooldown is lower than Pure Wizard's cooldown, which was 6 seconds. And these are the items that get me that 5.6 seconds cooldown for Poseidon. And being able to double proc Poseidon gives you a lot of more damage and more stability, so I would go for that if you can. But single proccing, so just having normal items instead, work quite well as well. So if you want to try it, go ahead, it should work quite well, but double proccing should be better for Poseidon. These are the alchemist items, nothing really special. This is a double cooldown CDE with a not that great flatline, but it's a double cooldown CDE either way. And for Dark Assassin I just have the slash rune and just CDE lines, basically some cooldown to make sure his ability will sync with Necromancer and Pure Wizard more easily during my wave. These are my slinger items. They are not the optimal. There's one knockback line, there's one slow line, and there is one stun line. So I could definitely get a little bit more stun lines for the build, for example. Like I would trade this +1 summon unit line for a stun line, for 4 slingers for this setup. Or the crit damage lines obviously could be a stun or anything. But hey, good enough, good enough. My still not max level static orb. Let's see if I will ever get that to max or not. My Necromancer items, I haven't been upgrading these for the longest time. This could be used on a damage dealer basically as well. But it's been in here. I have some skill duration runes, so I'm not really looking forward to resetting that. Succubus items, still looking for the better staff, because the area skill damage is useless. And also looking for an E version of this accessory for Succubus. And Orb of Agility for more attack speed should be the best one you can get for. It's either that one or the Orb of Luck for Succubus, and both should give you a lot of boost. But I have the Orb of Luck in here, as you can see. It's currently on my Dark Lightning Archer, who doesn't have the best bow. But it's a bow. Okay, let's just ignore this one. This is the Goldberg hit should be something that boosts damage, and I would be way more happier. That's why it doesn't have a second rune either. And this one is a beautiful item. It could have other uses as well. For example, maybe Town Archers in the future. Who knows? Maybe. That's not a promise, but that's a very strong maybe in the near future. And finally, Sarah, who has double crit chance CDE in here. And also, well, double poison damage, crit damage, CDE accessory. Also, maybe not the best, but yeah, that's enough. That's just, it works. It works for Sarah and gives me that one cooldown skill level +1 line for this setup. And the poison orb in here. And also, quickly through the cannons, they just have items that give me one cooldown skill level +1 line each. So that's why I have the 2 different cannons, because they can have different set of items, so I can get 4 of these yellow CDE lines for my setup. And then we have the skill tree. Let's go through that. I'm gonna scroll through it like this, so you can pause and check whatever point you want to see. I have 214 skill points currently, which is a lot. So vast majority of people running this build, if you want to run exactly this build, you probably won't have as many. I would recommend you to have more than 160 probably, at least, if you want to run exactly this copy of the build, to have most of the stuff. I have basically everything I need in here right now. The only things I might want to get in the future is maybe the frozen duration if I want to keep on using Dark Ice Wizard, which is kind of a minimal buff, and also these 3 10% decreased MP cost nodes, which gives me actually more damage from my Poseidon because of these 2 runes, these 2 nodes over here. So the first one will reverse the effect of MP cost nodes, so everything that decreases the MP cost will actually increase the MP cost. And this one, the upper one, will give you more damage based on the increased MP cost. So getting the decreased MP cost nodes will give me a little bit damage from my Poseidon. That's really, really small, so I am in no hurry of getting those. Otherwise, it's starting from the poison tree for Succubus and Sarah. because Succubus is the highest #1 damage dealer, highest level unit in my build. Everything in here, as you can see, will boost Succubus in one way or another. You don't really need this one because this will make poison deal damage slower and you don't want that, so you will ignore these 2 nodes over here. And the other nodes in here are for Voodoo and for Rogue, so we don't need that for this setup. And then in the ice tree, there are the Poseidon nodes over here in the top section. So these ones you will want if you run Poseidon. And of course, as many of the ice damage nodes as you can get for your setup. But you will need quite a lot of skill points if you want to run lightning, poison, and ice trees fully. So might be something that you want to skip for now. So you might run lightning and poison and just skip Poseidon for now. In the physical tree, I just have the strafe nodes for Dark Lightning Archer and Sarah. Also defense node over here to give me that emergency tanking, which really shouldn't that much be needed. And then I have in the fire trees just the sword node. I don't have any fire heroes in the build, so I don't need any other points in the fire tree. I just need the sword because it gives me that 2.5% more damage for my every unit in the build. And in the lightning tree, these are just for Zeus mainly, and also for Dark Assassin to give him a little bit more attack speed, very minor buff, for more crit damage buffs from Dark Assassin. I could take that one flying damage node in here. That's also very minor because Zeus is taking care of flying monsters and he already deals extremely huge amount of damage to flying monsters anyway, so that's one of the points I could take whenever I will eventually earn, quite soon actually, the next point. And then in the summon tree, the things you want in the summon tree: Slinger PS node for slingers, and this one to give you more monsters per wave, which means you get more gold per wave. And by the way, I have the full outer circle, so every gold boosting nodes in here, because I can afford that. Sacrificing a couple of these is not that a bad idea because it's only 1% per each. The only thing I'm missing is that 2% increased bonus experience points, which is completely useless, so I have no intentions of picking that one. But that's how my skill tree looks like. If you have any questions, if you're wondering why I have some node, feel free to drop a comment down below. I will try to give you an answer to the best of my knowledge. That's currently how my build looks like. I will try to do some minor changes in near future. I will keep you posted as soon as I do. Let's see if we can get a little bit better wave to end this video with, because honestly those couple I showed in the beginning were not the greatest ones. The bosses took a little bit too long to kill. They should die a little bit faster, optimally, for the build to be a little bit faster. And usually that happens. Let's see if I can actually show that to you during this one. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that was a lot better wave than the ones that I showed in the beginning of this video. So again, the results look like this. Kinda even results for Zeus and Succubus, which is it's a nice thing. It's a little bit weird, but it's a nice thing to have. And also against bosses, against Succubus. In here you can see Poseidon did a lot of boss damage in this round compared to some other rounds. In here, for example, where he did only 12%. Here he did 19%, which is, yeah, sometimes he can do that. That's a nice bonus from having Poseidon in the build. Thank you for watching. I will keep you posted as soon as I make any changes to the build, which I hope will be soon. Maybe we will get the beta as well soon, so we can actually try things more easily, but we will see. Thank you. I will see you in the Discord. The link is in the description. Bye bye.